and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am.
Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers, and welcome to this short video update with me here, which I want to make about a special light exercise which we can do to better receive that love and how to orient it back to ourselves. Because, I still think it's an ongoing theme, this theme of divine reunion within ourselves through the mirrors with others in relationships. And we were just reading Osho, and he also said that you can't always see yourself. You have to see yourself and be willing to see yourself through relationships with others. But we have to make sure these relationships are conscious, that they come through the essence of respect, because the moment you take the essence of respect out of the picture, there is nothing that is cohesive anymore within unity. So one thing I would like to say as the first thing here is that the deepest teachings about this I have in my soul embodiment course, which you can find down below. The link is shared. But I want to say that I'm going to just do a quick attunement here, because I think it's very important for us to tap into this part of us that we need to take care of it, because a lot of the times we still feel like so much of our energy goes outwards. For example, if we have a situation or relationship or something in our life that we tend to think so much about, and we don't even know the result or what the other is thinking, or let's say there was a separation between the two, or the separation of paths or whatever it is, and sometimes we still invest so much of our energy just in thinking what it was about, what it is. And the thing is that our crystal clear knowing comes from the space of the now moment presence. And when we, instead of negating those thoughts that arise, are able to bring them back to the essence of this now moment, then we're going to really start to feed that love and orient that love back to the self. Which doesn't mean, because most people, they have thoughts, they say, oh, it's not good to think about this so much, my energy is wasted, I'm being drained. Well, you're not doing anything about it without learning how to, through your life force awareness and presence, you bring that back and you cultivate it back to yourself through yourself. Because you're not just living for the truth, the truth lives through you. I'm going to say it like that. This is what Spirit showed me today during my run. And it's important that we constantly nurture and honor that space of truth, because a lot of times we know already it's good. It's our essence. It's divine birthright to be compassionate. And to be compassionate does not mean now we constantly have to feel what others are feeling and tune into. That's the essence of empathy. And a lot of people say they're empaths. I'm feeling the world or the energies or the pain of the world. Well, we don't have to, because that's not our highest essence. The higher vibratory state is compassion. It's the radical compassion where you don't have to be fully in it to be with it, which means you can love and leave at the same time. The letting go and loving are at the same time, because a lot of people confuse the words letting go. They think, okay, now I no longer love someone. No, you're letting go the situation that perhaps is not authentic to your soul. If you are, as your sovereign master of self, choosing that compassion for yourself, choosing respect and honor, and that wasn't in the presence with someone else, and if the relationships are not even present in your life at present, then why are we thinking so much about it? Because a lot of times someone is not even there physically, and we're having all those scenarios about them, and people process so many things. And the thing is that a lot of our life force is depleted that way. If you're noticing yourself getting tired, or your energy just goes, you have, as a human being in this body, in your vessel, a certain amount of energy at your disposal. It's infinite, but how much your body is processing during 24 hours, and some of it you sleep, then you have to focus that energy. Otherwise, it's going to become too scattered. And if you've already invested yourself in something, then you will be depleted in other areas. So perhaps you won't be able to create so much for your own basis of your life that's supposed to be blissful and joyful. So if you're noticing that you're losing energy for your own creations, and you're actually using so much energy, learn what you're using it for and what thought processes are coming there. Because the key thing that I always want to expose here is that on the surface of things, we always live our stories, right? It's different personas exchanging, intermingling, entwining, separating, whatever it is about. So the essence of what I'm going to share here is that we are able to move beyond that which seems to be on the surface, and that's always the appearance of things, which is the stories, the characters, the personas. And from the storylines, we go deeper and we go into the archetypes behind it. The archetypes are that which designs, which will propel those stories to come into being for us to have that experience on that level if we want to. We don't have to, but a lot of humans are still choosing that. The essence is moving behind it and really behind it and beyond. So beyond these archetypes, when you're moving even deeper, you will have essences. Everything will be pure essence, which is the essence self. These essences will move forward and forth into life and creation and create things through dynamic tensions. Beyond even that is the core essence self. So that is your I am truth, that sovereignty. And you can always exist, like I teach in the free mini course on multidimensional mastery. That's one video before this one, check that out. And also a light activation for you to access and harness that within your living reality. Not just thinking multidimensionally, but living multidimensionally in all of your in all your ways, how you are, what you respond to, all your relationships. So the key here is that we're always able to move beyond anything through the story into archetype, into the essence that propel that. What was the essence behind it, and then into the core creation self. So when we're able to do that, then we really are masters, because it's not that we're negating those external aspects of sometimes we live through as human beings, but we actually are able to penetrate deeper and move deeper into the experience of things through essence, and even deeper into our core. And the core is always still, it's peaceful, it's present. So if we're using too much energy either for the past or future that don't exist, there's no life force needed there, and there is no. That's why when you're just thinking about things without consciously engaging with life force, you can't really create them on a higher level, because the life force can only flow through you in the now. So for example, when I'm creating through the now is when each impulse will come through my life force. Oh, now I want to do this video. Ooh, I'm going to create this piece of art. Or, ooh, I'm going to do this yoga, right now in this session. If I'm thinking, oh, it's good for me to do yoga this week, and I'm structuring and planning and too much organizing in my head, then I'm not in the present moment. You see the difference? The feeling will be richer in depth when I'm really doing it from the now moment. It's how I feel. It's how my life force guides me, and it's all coming through the intelligence of my body. Okay, so one more thing I want to say is that the difference between us expressing our feelings and dramas, because I see also people confusing those two. Someone will have maybe a rampage and express their feelings, and it might seem very drastically how they do it. And you get angry sometimes. We all do, because we're humans, and we're allowed to feel those feelings. At that moment, you're expressing the essence of the anger. You're not becoming it. You're just expressing it through you. And it can be healthy for you to tune into that. What is unhealthy is for you to suppress it, or to judge it as either good or bad, or many shades in between. It just is. So what is the difference between you expressing your feelings, and even in relationships when they're conscious, when we speak what we feel, because the aspect of soul embodiment will always come through feeling. I feel full of life right now, or I feel a little depleted right now, or I feel limited in a way. I feel so vast and expansive. So what's the difference between this and playing it out through drama? Because when we use drama, we don't actually express our feelings, but what we do is instead we create a scenario. Through the scenario, we kind of wish the scenario would speak by itself, so someone else would get it, and we create this drama, and it's distortion, it's illusion, it's the biggest outline of things, which is on the very, very, very surface. It can be very trivial, and yet for most humans, it's how they live. It's how they still choose to live, because they don't know otherwise, because their awareness hasn't deepened yet, so they can share their feelings through wisdom. And wisdom will always guide you to share your feelings. So the drama will come out as a weird situation that's already distorted, because you haven't yet fully expressed in the now moment. And within dramas, we usually relate to a lot of the past or future projections. Also, one important difference is that sometimes we believe we're mirroring each other, but the moment we project those mirrors, we're no longer mirroring, we're projecting. So I also feel and I see and witness this a lot is when people in partnerships or when they speak to one another, they think they're mirroring, but they're actually projecting. So you have to be very observing. When you're mirroring, you can only do that for yourself. Always bring the essence of what another is showing you, what the situation or circumstance, and even something maybe in your environment you're like seeing as a message for you at this time. What is this showing you about the bigger picture of why, for example, you're here, why you're at a certain place, why you're guided to be at a specific location. And you can see those mirrors all the time. But with people, it's very easy sometimes to see the light mirrors, but the shadow mirrors we're still kind of suppressing, because the shadow was for so long engraved in the human consciousness as bad. And don't look at that. And it's going to kill you if you look at that. It's bad, or it's a boo-boo. Don't go there. You don't want to go there because you never know what's beneath. Pandora's box, for example, is one archetype. So the thing is that when we're really mirroring, we're always bringing that back to the self. When we're projecting, we're saying to another, for example, oh, don't you know I'm just your mirror? People like to say that because they get scared of their feelings not being received neutrally and through compassion, so they have to do it this way through diversity. And it's kind of sometimes also there's a you kind of create this situation when you're like in reversal. You want to kind of create this reversal of things moving away from you, but you can't really escape from yourself and what you need to witness and meet within yourself. These are all essences that want to meet and really create this interplay so that we can be whole from within, because when we're whole, you already know it, what I'm going to say, we are holy, and that's when we can tune into our core. So when you are in a particular situation and you feel in one level you feel like that, and you're angry and you're hurt and you feel resentment, maybe perhaps also in another layer you feel good. I'm good, really feel good. And then you're questioning, why can you feel this simultaneously? It's because we're layers, right? We're not just these different densities that are separate from each other. And these layers, when we allow them all to speak up and step up on this theater that we call life right now in existence, we allow them to merge. And the more they merge, the more we're coming into the core. The more we still keep them separate and allow these fragmented parts to, be kind of like in a battlefield, that we're not doing this synthesis work. So it's very important for conscious partnerships. Some of you are able to do that in your relating experiences. Bravo. It's very good. It's not in a snarky way, when you feel like you're in a relationship, okay, now let's mirror each other, we got to do this work. And then again, it's coming through the needing to, and it's coming through want, and it's control. And a lot of the times, what we can notice beneath the surface within many relationships is that there's this part of us that might feel, or many parts that might still feel fragmented. They constantly need validation. So that's why a lot of our thoughts and thought streams are moving through thinking so much about others, and their reactions are, how do they feel now? How do they see us? How would they respond to us if we said this or that? And a lot of that is because these fragmented aspects always feel they need somehow to be seen, recognized, or to have validation. From our core, we don't need that. We're already whole. So like I said, the more we merge that and unify, the more we will be unified from within. It's important to observe, because the moment we say, no, it's like this and no other way, that's it, I already know my truth, period. You might know your truth on one level, but when you're really living as a mystic, you're constantly going to want to be penetrated even deeper and go deeper and experience deeper and say, well, the unity and unification process is a mysterious path. There's no timeline to it. There's always more. Our mastery is always working through the refinement of more and more capacity to be as source beings. So when we will notice these things like shadow aspects and fragmented aspects of us coming to the forefront, we have to love them, because they're not wanting to just be go away thoughts, they want to be loved. So when your thoughts, for example, are constantly straying away to a situation you basically have no control over, because the only control you have is the choosing of your own alignment. So if I want to have respect in my life and honor and purity and all of that, which I know is just for me, that comes through the core truth alignment, then I have to choose those essences for myself. And through these, I create the archetypes and the storylines. Sometimes these storylines will come through other people, and if they're still in drama, I might experience drama too. But here's the difference. A lot of you will think that mirroring means that, okay, if if I attract drama through another, then I also have drama within myself. Not necessarily. You might be a fully drama-free soul. You're totally capable of speaking your truth. You're aligned. You're pure. You know how you flow with your verbal communication and the expression of you in the moment. But you might still have a belief that as human you need to experience drama because you're human. So that's a part of your story. So explore that. Play with that a little bit. Because even though you might be free from that and you're saying, well, I attract the drama through another, so either you go into the extreme by saying it's all about them, nothing about me, here to see, or you go into the extreme by saying, well, I must have drama within me too, and then you're seeing it just as black and white. Go to the nature of what within you believes it's still needing to witness this experience or participate in that experience. Because that's the difference, and that's how you will see that although perhaps you don't have this within you, and when you're alone by yourself you don't create any drama, you don't create anything, but when you're another you see that coming through. So perhaps you still have this conditioned belief that as a human, if you want to be in a relationship, that's what you're gonna get. But we can go deeper and we can expose it and pinpoint it, not finger point like blame and judgment, but just saying, look, for example, I don't want to be part of this, or I don't want to have a conversation this way. Recently I had 2 dreams when I had to speak my truth, and there's 2 beings who projected something in me, and I was so strong in the dream. I simply said, look, that's not what I'm choosing for myself. So in one dream someone said, well, then just take your stuff and go away, and I'm like, okay. I didn't even say, oh please let me stay or whatever. I just said, okay. I started picking up my things and I left. And then I spoke my truth and I said, well, you know, this is how I choose within my integrity. And I was saying some things. In the other dream again, someone wanted to talk to me, but it was still through filters and masks. And it was someone coming back into my life. And I said, look, if you want to have a conversation, it needs to be pure, but I don't want to have it this way. So if you do want to have it, we're not going to have it this way through masks and, you know, but being with energy somewhere else when you're not present with me. So it takes a lot of maturity and courage for us to do that work. But I want to now do this short exercise for all of us when we actually bring that essence of whatever it is back to the self. So imagine that you are almost like in a sphere of energy, and in that sphere you're everything, you're all. And that sphere contains so many levels and layers to who you are. You are a simple being of source, and yet you are complex in the diversity of how you can experience and how you can filter your experiences. And now just imagine what we did before, that on the outer layer you have all the stories, characters, figures, theater, playwrights, everything changing, coming and going. But as you move deeper, there's a more peaceful tranquility present there, and just archetypes that are behind it. Sometimes through relationships we incept another or ourselves. So when we have a very dramatic or something that we perceive as a very drastic situation in our life, we have to see the first essence. We have to trace that back as far, of course, in the now moment, but as far back as tracing the first origin of that inception. Where was that illusion placed? Because again, remember, I always say this, what is untrue can only be penetrated. The truth, if you are fully aligned with the truth on all levels, unified, you can't be penetrated. The truth is as it is. But we will be easily penetrated when there's still distortions, and it's okay. It's how we create those radical shifts, by becoming aware. So there is more tranquility here, and you're seeing through archetypes certain inceptions. And you can do this for any situation, for anything you are currently moving through. That's the multidimensional essence of everything coming closer and closer to unity. And then you go even deeper, and there's an even deeper tranquility present there, even deeper peace. And that is the origin of the essence self. And those essences create, and there's even what we might refer to as within this universal consciousness, the 12-fold journey within the 13 being the 13th octave of our source. And as you move even deeper, you move into that 13th octave. It's your God, Goddess spark, your I am presence, your unique sovereign self. And you can always move into that. And the moment you become as still as that standpoint and that eternal self-awareness, that also spreads out And again, it encompasses the whole sphere. So you're building up the roidal field awareness with this. And just observe it, how from that tiny, tiny, most minute aspect, which you would say that the origin point of your source, then it becomes and spreads out again. So you're like always pulsating like this with life. And now, if you have a situation or too much thoughts or too much processing, or when people say I'm constantly releasing something, it's constant, it's ongoing, you don't know when to stop. You do need to stop eventually. There needs to be this radical shift that doesn't always perceive you as you and your enlightenment, or you and, you know, relationship harmony, or you and this desire. It's always a gap between. That's this constant releasing energy we believe. It's not how it is. We have to move from that linear into spherical, and then into cyclical, and then of course into the spiral. And spiral is in all directions. It's very multidimensional. If you imagine a white hole of all life coming into creation, that's kind of how it feels like. And that's also, in essence, we have, well, the origin point we all have within. So we can go back to that birthing place. Okay, so when you have this situation, or something you perceive outside of you, or energy dynamic, or thoughts that won't continue to stop on something, or inner rambling, or a feeling you just can't shake off. It's not like a momentarily passing through, but it's there. Just learn to, through all those layers, imagine that the life force, which is all encompassing, moves from that surface level, and it moves through the archetype behind it, moves through the essence, and then through your core self. So that you can direct everything without judging it. You're simply perceiving it on that level, but then you're aware how you can bring it much deeper. So you can turn that life force back to you. And when you're able to do that looping stream of energy, you're in flow. And you're in flow with the universe and with universal abundance. Just not just money, please. Don't mistake in that. It is the alignment of who you are on all levels, so that what you are within can be perceived and experienced outside as well. There's always infinite options for you to explore and create. So when you do that, you will always bring back that which sometimes we perceive as the loss of energy, or where people are saying even words like psychic attack, or someone is stealing my energy, or someone is draining me. You are allowing that. Just bring it through all those levels back to you, because as a conscious master, you can do that. It's just becoming aware of it. Where is the energy leakage? Breathe your life force into it. Imagine it coming back. And you will notice that as you do that, as you progress into that, you will get more and more life force that invigorates you from within. You will be able to create more creations that are sacred, that are in alignment with your soul, and that is what's creating your infinite abundance. It's not just thinking, I'm abundance, that's one thing, okay? But we can think it as much as we want, and if we're still depleting our energy and we allow it to run and leave us dry, because a lot of people, they might have a good heart and they have good tendencies and they're always there to help others, but their gardens, their inner gardens, are always left unattainted. So they're kind of like depleted. So it's, it's a belief behind it. Why do we feel we're validated only by helping others, or by being there for others, or helping others to create better lives? Within unity, we all thrive. Not just, someone you help with, and then you feel, depleted. I'm energy-wise depleted. Learn to bring that back, because that doesn't mean you leave another out dry, but you love from a higher octave, you love from a higher space, and that's what we're here for. And I know this is something that's a little harder to master, as well as go check out my latest blog on ascensionpioneers.com. It's about this full moon and what it brought us, and it's also shared on my Facebook page, Ascension Pioneers. So this is what I've been writing about. Mostly the writing was all about this. So even if someone goes into separation, how do you still remain within unity? There was a lot of fear that when others are like this, we're going to be sucked into that as well, because in the past it's all we knew through empathy. But the more radical compassion you embody, the easier it is for you to stay within unity, even if there's a field of still separation someone's creating. Because let's face it, people are where they are, and we need to leave them where they are by understanding knowing that the understanding of their process is the understanding that we don't have to understand it all. So the thoughts that go out are parts of us that always need to know and control everything. Why is this person this way? Why is it? And it's a constant. And why is it coming back to you as a loop? Why is it continuous? Because it will create it until you recognize it and move it into a higher level. So then the thoughts might change, might get softer, but there's still going to be thoughts. Then do it, bring it even deeper. And when you're in your core, you will feel it, because there will be a pop. There will be a shift in you, a radical one. And things will ease up, and you will be a sacred offering of true radical compassion for yourself and others. So learn to do these exercises whenever you notice yourself either depleted, when you perceive someone else governs your life force, someone else governs your reality. That's not true. Learn to notice those distortions and learn to witness where the first prime inception was, whether through you or another, but you still, even though it's through another, you still took it as that. So it's always from you. The deceptions we're having are always from us. So I hope this was helpful. Go take the free course. It's on my homepage of Set Up Being a Light. It's also on YouTube on Multidimensional Mastery. Take the light activation or find my courses there. Love you all so very much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Welcome into my world, the world of the elven song, magical.